Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is going to be delusional strongmen. Now, at this stage of my coaching career, I get messages from delusional strongmen on a daily basis. And it's very fascinating to me because I've seen that there's 5 things that they tend to share in common. So I thought I'd do a little video outlining what those 5 things are, and it should be quite educational and help you guys avoid similar pitfalls in your own mindset. So the first one, over-obsession and respect for the goal. Now, this one is the first sign that comes up, because in their first 1 to 3 messages to me, they'll say, I want to win World's Strongest Man and break this world record. Now, if you haven't come top 10 in the world, you've honestly got no right to message a coach that statement. Because if you're nowhere near it, what this indicates is that you've already got the end in mind. You're not focused on the present. And you overly respect the goal. You think by achieving it, you're going to eliminate all your life's problems. You're going to get all these accolades, all this respect once you achieve that goal. And all your insecurities will go away. If you want to achieve the goal of becoming World's Strongest Man, you need to become the World's Strongest Man. You can't want to be World's Strongest Man, you need to be World's Strongest Man. And this was really exemplified to me with Nauru and Uncle Nick. The years they won the World's Strongest Man under 90 kilos, they were so convinced they were going to win by their own training that they just knew. They walked around like they were World's Strongest Man before they even set foot in the arena. They were a champion before it even became reality. So that's the real key here. You need to become the goal rather than become obsessed with the goal to the point it pushes it away. Now, the next one, time limit. Now, this is really fascinating. Every time a delusional strongman messages me, they always have a really strict time limit. So it might be a young guy saying, I want to win World's Strongest Man by the time I'm 25. Or slightly will go by. I need to win within the next 2 years. So it's always either 25 or within 2 years, every single time. And what this indicates is that they're not really in love with the process, and they don't really want it that much. They just like the idea of it. If a goal is truly, truly important to you, it takes as long as it bloody takes. And that's just the way it is. So if someone gives me a time limit, and often it'll be really strict. They'll tell me, it's so important I achieve this within the next 2 years or the next 4 years if they're like a 21-year-old guy. And it's often just completely unrealistic. So that's a big indication there, is if a goal truly is important to you, it takes as long as it takes. Time be damned. So the next one is no muscle. Now this one, I always throw some numbers out here. So let's say I had a sort of local heavyweight, okay, he's done a few comps, message me. He might be 120 kilos at 30% body fat. If we run the numbers, he's got about 84 kilos of lean mass. Now that's just obviously not just muscle, that's bones, tendons, organs, all sorts of things. But 84 kilos lean mass, all right, great. How much lean mass does he need to perhaps be in a position where he can even contemplate getting close to winning World's Strongest Man? Okay, he might have to be more like 140 kilos at 20%. Now this is, by the way, is for a guy about my height, about 6'1". If you're taller, you're going to have to be a lot bigger. But the whole, the height for various weight classes and the height for open weights is a whole nother topic of another video. Now, if we run the numbers, the guy who's 140 kilos at 20%, who's got a shot of doing very well, he has 110 kilos of lean mass. And even that might not be enough for some people. If your neural qualities aren't up to scratch, you might need to be even bigger than that to achieve your goals. So what's the difference there? Well, 112, 84, that's 28 kilos of muscle, or lean mass rather, that they need to put on. So that really puts things in perspective. 28 kilos of muscle. And, so often I'll tell these people, go and buy 28 kilos of steak and lay it out before you put it in the freezer. And it will really put in perspective how much tissue that actually is. So your nutrition is going to have to be immaculate to get from point A to point B. Now, the fourth sign is poor genetics. Okay, so this is a bit of a harsh one, but it's something that people really should be aware of, because it can lead to a lot of frustration if you unaware of the depth of genetics in this sport. So here's an example. So my friend Jordan Osborne, who won Australia's Strongest Man, the first time he was ever in the gym, and all he'd done was some very light circuit training for baseball, he bench pressed 170 kilos. And I think he deadlifted close to 260, maybe even 260 kilos his first week in the gym. And these kind of numbers are what a lot of the top open weight guys are hitting their first day in the gym. You'd be shocked at how many guys pulled 220, 260. You know, there's even been guys that pulled close to 300 kilos with no training. So these are the kind of genetic monsters you can be up against. Or in the lightweight category, guys like Naru, you know, a few weeks into squatting, he squatted 180 kilos. That's pretty good when you're a man who weighs in the low 80 kilos. So you've got to be realistic with genetics sometimes and realize there's some absolute freaks out there, but don't let it dissuade you. So, you know, I could be, pissed off that Mitch Hooper has been doing strongman for less time than me. Or I could just not really care and continue on the path of continually getting better and learning more about the human body from pushing myself in the sport. So that's really key here, is you've got to not compare yourself to other people, because there are these absolute freaks out there who hit numbers on their first day in the gym ever that you will take years to hit. So you've got to keep that in mind with the timelines, and just acknowledge you've got to enjoy the process, and it will take a long time if you didn't hit those numbers just because you picked the right parents. All right. And the final one, lifestyle. So this is another interesting one. The guys, the delusional guys, they'll either be, there's basically two types, and there seems to be no in between. They're either guys still living with their parents who have no job, don't even have a driver's license, or they'll be a bit older and they'll be running some hectic business which makes them really stressed all the time and they can barely recover from training. So both these people are going to have to take stock of their lifestyle and realize, okay, I've got to figure out a way to make a heap of money, because it's a very expensive sport, but I still need enough rest and recovery that I can put in world-class efforts in the gym. And so you've got to, you can't have it all. So you've got to be very realistic. Whether you've already got a good business going, but it's taking away too much time from the gym, and you really want to take the sport to the next level, you need to figure out, how can I cut back on my work, make the same or more money, and be able to put a better effort in my training and get more sleep. Or if you've haven't got a job, living at home with mum and dad, haven't even got a car, it's probably time to get a job and actually think about a career rather than a job, because you'll need a career to fund this journey if you really want to take the sport far. So I hope that was just some interesting insight into mindset and some of the pitfalls that you can avoid. So just to summarize, watch out for yourself becoming too obsessed with the goal. That was number one. Number two was watch out for time limits, okay? So if something means enough to you to pursue it, it takes as long as it takes. The third one, okay, muscle mass for strength sport goals. Get a DEXA scan, see what your body fat percentage is at, and then figure out what someone with your height who's achieved where you want to go, figure out how much muscle mass they have. And see what you need to do to bridge the gap, and whether it's actually realistic, whether you can actually eat the amount of food required and stay strict to a diet and eat that amount of protein for years on end. Genetics. This one is one where you've just got to control the controllables. And what will take you past those freaks is staying in the game longer, getting better coaching, and just persevering and chipping away. That's how you're going to surpass those freaks. You just got to outlast them. It's just the way it is. And then the final one, lifestyle. So if you really want to achieve a big sporting goal, you need to be realistic about how much energy you need to go into that. And you've got to have a business or a career that complements rather than steals energy from your sport. So that is the 5 traits of the delusional strongman. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching.